Stace and Barry. Your soul is mine. Welcome to Stace and Barry in the morning. We're doing Mortal Kombat on your ass. We're gonna kick it and punch it and punt it and stuff. Morning. I'm Stace, and joining me on this very real sofa that's definitely in the same room, but at least 2 meters away from me, is the beautiful Barry Nugent. Hi, Barry.
All those souls of you, and I don't even know what I was saying. What I was going to say was, all those souls, you don't have one of your own. I pity you, Stacey. Pity you.
Wow. Bit harsh, mate.
Yeah, it was a little bit, sorry. And I fluffed my lines as well. And I had it written in front of me as well, so I couldn't fluff it. And yeah, I still fluffed it. I'm a fluffer, Stace.
But don't say that.
Yeah, I just realised what I said.
Is that your new job?
Yeah, that's me.
Barry the worker bee fluffer.
Yeah, live it, own it, be.
Oh, baby. Should we just move on?
Yeah, let's just move on.
Let's not do any pretense of bants because we've already ruined each other's lives with the thought of you as a fluffer.
Yeah.
This is a very special episode of Stace and Barry, guys, because we've both watched Mortal Kombat and we've both got thoughts, like the new one, obviously, because you all know that we've watched the old one. Yeah. And we've got thoughts, spoilery thoughts, just, fair warning. So if you haven't seen it yet and you feel like maybe there's something about the Mortal Kombat movie we could potentially spoil for you, which I, don't really think there is, but it's up to you. Go and watch it. Come back to us. We'll still be here like a warm mother's bosom. I don't know. Look, I'm weird today.
What the fuck was that about?
Look, I've been having
compared to a lot of things. I know, but come on. I've been compared to a lot of things, but never a warm mother's bosom.
I don't know. What's like warm and cosy and like, your bed when you've had a hottie botty in there.
A coat? A duvet?
A coat. Yeah, come back to us. We're here like a nice warm coat.
There we go. There we go. Back in the room.
Whew. B.
Yes.
You distressed me slightly before we started talking because I was like, yes, I'm excited. And you were like, well. And then I panicked and I thought, uh-oh, this might be, we may literally just be about to have a fight on air.
Oh, as we used to say back in Tottenham, just hold your noise. So first off, the big spoiler: Mortal Kombat's about tournament. Boom, spoiled. So what I want to say is, like, overall, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Like, I did enjoy it, and there were bits that I really, really, really enjoyed, and there were bits that I thought were just shit. And and unfortunately, the bits that were shit kind of dragged down the bits that I really, really, really enjoyed. So that then made it that I enjoyed it. And yeah. And the thing is like, this, like I said, some of the fights were like just cracking. There were some cracking fights in there. The fact they got fatalities in there. I mean, there was a couple of, that's going to leave a mark. That's going to leave a mark. That's going to sting. I'm pretty sure that person's not getting up again. And if they are, there's going to be 2 of them. Hey-oh. Yeah. And when did Raiden become a dick?
Oh, mate.
He was a proper dick in this.
I thought this was really funny because okay, so getting into spoiler territory already, I will preface this by saying that I fucking loved this film. Like, I got, if I'm marking it out of 5 in terms of enjoyment, absolutely a 5-star movie. If I'm marking it out of 5 in terms of technical goodness, I mean, maybe I shouldn't even say because it's pretty badly edited and the score's pretty rubbish, and some of the effects in it are genuinely laugh out loud funny, but I loved it. But yeah, like, Raiden really tickled me because this movie opens and it's like, hey, it's Japan in like the, I don't know, 1400s or something. I wasn't paying attention. Who cares?
17th century Japan.
There you go. And a guy and his missus are doing a bit of gardening, and they're getting some water from a well, and there's a kid and another kid, and it's like, oh, it's all lovely, and then you've been sub-zeroed. Just shit, man, you've been sub-zeroed.
You've
The
just
end.
been Sub-Zero.
And like shit kicks off. And what really tickled me about the whole scene, so it's like a really great, pre-credit setup scene of like, here's Sub-Zero and what he's standing for and blah blah blah. But like as the guy who was trying to defend his family from Sub-Zero is dying on the floor, Raiden turns up to like basically kidnap his child. And I'm like, bitch, why didn't you turn up earlier?
Yeah, where the fuck were you 10 minutes ago? I mean,
Mate,
it's
are you
like,
just watching your scene and thinking, I'll see how this plays out?
yeah, he's
What, you
giving it a go. Maybe he could. I better get involved. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
Oh, now the kids are
Oh,
off. I
and
can't bear doing
the
that.
thing is, as well, it's like that opening scene was wicked. That
Oh,
opening fight scene was wicked, and that kind of set the. And in some ways, that was kind of part of its kind of not a problem for me, but it just set the tone for me because I was literally clapping my hands, going, "Oh, all right, this is going to be
it's on.
It's on," because he took out. I mean, people. There was one guy he took out with like the spear thing, like where I was thinking he's already dead, and he picked the guy up and kind of like he landed on the floor and he landed
Oh,
that kind of on the
on
side of his
his
head,
neck.
and I was
Yeah.
kind of like, "What? If you weren't dead before?"
Yes. Mate, that guy knows how to wield a fucking trowel.
Oh, geez, yeah. I mean, he can come and do my garden any day. Jeez.
Mate, seriously.
But
What I loved about. Sorry, go on.
no, you go.
Well, I was going to say, what I loved about that opening sequence as well was like, we put the movie on, and then Rich turned to me and he was like, do you know what? I might make a cuppa. And he goes out of the room, and I was like, Rich, I've had to pause it. Someone's already been Sub-Zeroed, and someone's been stabbed in the top of the head. And he was like, oh, am I missing things already? Because this movie doesn't fucking mess around. It's like, look, we know that you came here for the fights, so fights
Yeah,
you shall get.
yeah,
Like, instantly, it's like, I don't know, stab a guy, yeah. Sure, why not? Yes.
yeah. And there's one guy he put the sword through the top of his head,
Right
and
through
then
the top
blood
of his
came
head.
out the mask he was wearing, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
all
he's not
about
getting
it.
up. Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, we'll come back to Raiden being a dick because I got more to say on that. But yeah, so obviously after that scene, it then moves to the. Actually, that's the other thing. In all of these kind of films, right, there's always this bit where someone's in a village and they go off somewhere to do something. And then there's a scream and they have to run back to the village and they find everyone's been slaughtered. So I'm just putting it out there as a kind of, if you've got your little village or whatever, don't go anywhere, just in case.
Don't go to the well. Don't leave
Yeah.
your wife gardening while you go to the well. It's a
Yeah,
mistake.
take your wife and your kid with you
Yeah.
everywhere you go.
Have them on you at all times.
Jobs are good. Like
Like a
your key,
wallet.
like your car keys. Have them with you all times.
Right, you just packing to leave the house. I've got my wife, yes, my kid, my
Yeah.
other kids, keys, wallet, yeah.
Yeah. Also, as well, like, given this is a bit I didn't get right. I just remember some. This is a bit I didn't get. So, like, Sub-Zero turns up, or the missus knows shit's going down, and she's like, right. They've obviously thought about this, and now we've got to enact this plan. And then they take the baby, and they kind of put this baby into kind of like a little compartment on the floor, don't they? Now,
Yeah.
surely the
Just
son
avoid
is
the
old
other
enough
kid.
to sort of go, hold up a minute, what the fuck?
What about me?
Yeah, if you ever wanted to know if you were the favourite of your family, that's how you find out.
Oh my god. I love as well that little kid at one point like does a bit of a karate stance or whatever as if to say like, look, I'll fight you, and then Sub-Zero just generates a tiny bit of ice on his hand and they're both like, oh no.
Yeah, shit.
Can I back out of this
Didn't think
stance that I
through,
just
did you,
did?
kid?
I take back my bravery. I don't want it. I'm
Yeah.
gone. Like, oh my god, this movie.
Yeah, so then it moves to like modern day, and then we meet. For me, what is wrong with this movie?
Oh,
I think,
okay.
yeah, when I actually really narrow it down, this is what's wrong with the movie, and unfortunately, it's the star of the show. So it's the former MMA fighter Cole Young, who,
Yeah.
as I kind of discovered afterwards, I didn't think he was, but I kind of discovered it afterwards as well. Is that isn't even a character in the game.
Yeah, no.
they've just made this dude up because it's not like he didn't have 200 characters to choose from. Let's just make up a random guy who is just so. And I've seen him in other stuff, and apparently he was supposed to be. He was up for the role of Iron Fist.
Okay.
But compared to some of the other actors in this who are really throwing themselves into it, they were clearly just having a laugh with it, and it shows. I don't know what film he thinks he's in.
Yeah, he was definitely actually giving it genuine Willy, and I was like, oh no, you don't know where you are.
but not even good Willy. It's bad Willy, Stace. It's almost like when you've got all the actors standing around doing the lines, and in the middle of all the actors, you've got a giant piece of wood.
I didn't think he was that bad. Like because I said to Rich at first, I was like, okay, is this a character from one of the games I haven't played that I don't know? And he was like, no, this is definitely a new guy. And I was like, well, okay, I don't mind that so much because they're obviously going to set this up to try and have a sequel. So they don't want to throw like your Johnny Cage at you straight away. They don't want to throw like all of the characters that we know and love because then they've got nothing to bring you in the sequel that they obviously want to do. So I was like, okay, my problem with him, and this is what like one of the couple of niggles that I had with the film, is that him and his power and his sort of reasoning for existing is very boring. Like he's only fighting because he's been told you kind of have to, because I guess you were born into it, but you don't know that because your parents, your grandparents, and whatever, they're all dead. You know. So he's got no like real sort of impetus to be there other than he sort of has to be. And then when he discovers his arcana, which is like his power, his mystical move or what have you, it's just armour and a couple of tonfa. And I'm like, mate, that is so shit. Kano's there, lasering out of his fucking left eye, like, have that bitch. and he's just like hitting you with a weenie stick. Nah, come on.
I just didn't. And the thing was, you're so before you even get your power, your skill is get your ass kicked, and then there's the bit. It's like
he's not even a good MMA fighter.
No, and there's a line where he sort of says, "Yeah, I'm not as good as I used to be," but there's no reasoning given as to why he isn't as good as he used to be. Do you know what I mean? If it was,
I think the problem, the issue there was with making him an MMA fighter, which works on the one hand because it gives him a reason to, have fighting skills, and it gives you an excuse to have like another fight almost immediately after the credits because he's in the ring he's in the octagon having a fight.
Yeah.
But it also works to the detriment because they can't have him be a good MMA fighter because then he'd be famous, and then him going missing would be very, very noticeable.
Yeah. But
that's the problem that they had. They wrote themselves into a stupid corner.
Yeah, and then they gave him a set of stupid. When he gets it, because a bit, you've got Goro's kind of kicking his ass, and the family.
Oh no way! That guy's beating Goro. I'm not having that.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other.
Come on, lads.
And like he's kicking his ass and stuff, and then like he gets really angry because he's kind of disposable family because obviously that's the the minute you saw like that he's got a wife and kid, what I actually thought was I didn't actually think he's the girl when she's first introduced. I didn't actually think it was even his daughter. I just thought it was some mate of his or something. I don't know. And when that's all happening, and then he gets really angry, and obviously I was like, oh, okay, so now he's gonna get his power, whatever the power. Oh, his power is basically a clothing line then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those weedy little tonfa.
Yeah, and he's got tonfa, and it's
the thing is as well, tonfa, you need to learn how to use effectively. He's never used tonfa before in his life.
Yeah, but even that I could buy it. It's just it was just the gold arm, and it's like, so your power is getting your ass kicked, and you can store up power with that, right? Hey, can we get back to? It
wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Can we get back to Kano? You're about to say, wait.
Kano or anyone else, basically. But everyone else, I like I said. So anyway, there's this whole thing, and they meet Jax, who I actually thought was pretty good at it. They escape from Sub-Zero and stuff, and then there's a Jax stays behind. That's a bit that made me laugh. At Jax like, yeah, you gotta get out of here, get to this cabin, meet Sonya, she'll take care of you. I'll cover you. I was just like, in what world?
You're dead, bro.
In what world did you think that was going to end any way else than it ended? Given the fact that you saw a dude pulling ice down from the sky and throwing ice at your car.
Yeah, me and Rich got endless enjoyment out of his fight sequence with Sub-Zero because I had to ask, even that, like, so, okay, there's a lot of problems with this movie, but I still enjoyed the shit out of it. But like one of the little issues that I had was like, so his power later turns out to be like fantastic metal arms, because during this fight with Sub-Zero freezes his arms and then kicks him off a fucking ledge and like keeps his arms up on his ledge and like kicks him down to the ground. Like it was insane. Like I was dying. I was like, this is the best film I've ever seen. He's just frozen some guy's arms right off. I am there. But then, like later, they give him some of the most hilariously inadequate, tiny weedy, like fucking Johnny Five style shit metal arms. And then when he gets his arcana, it like builds big, beefy sort of metal arms over it.
How does that work?
What if he hadn't lost his arms? Would his power have chopped his arms off for him and put these new ones there, or like what?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, actually. But my thing was, it's kind of like the fight he was having with Sub-Zero. I was actually thinking he wasn't doing too bad. He's like. He was doing all right, and then like he got his arms like,
Then Sub-Zero remembered he had ice powers.
Yeah, and then when he kicks him off, when he falls, he actually headbutts like one of the levels as he's falling. I was like, yeah, he's not getting up. And I think it's the bit where they kind of Liu Kang, who I'm going to get onto. I've got some shit to say. Liu Kang kind of leads them through, and he's like, and he leads him into a room, and he's there. And I was like, how the fuck did he get there? And I don't know why. I just thought, how did he get there with no arms?
A couple of minutes too fucking late. Fucking arsehole.
I mean, Raiden's whole kind of purpose in this film is to just be an arse and turn up late and kind of make up shit as he goes, because the amount of times he kept saying, yes, I couldn't do. It's like I'm skipping way ahead because the whole plot's got out the window now. But it's like when Hat Dude gets taken out. What's his name?
Oh, Kung Lao?
Kung Lao, yeah. When he gets taken out, and he was a bit of a dick. But when he gets taken, he wasn't a dick. I liked him, but he was just a bit up himself. Do you know what I mean? He needed to get taken down a little bit of a notch. Obviously, maybe not quite that far.
Maybe not all of his notches.
Maybe not all of his notches, yeah, and his soul. But it's like the bit where he gets grabbed by Shang Tsung. I mean, in fair play to him that he went straight for Shang Tsung, you know. And he's like, your soul is mine. No comparison to the original, which was much better. Soul is mine. But anyway, he grabs him, and he's kind of sucking the soul out of him. I would say it took him a couple of minutes to take out his soul, right?
Yeah.
And then Raiden transports them all to that void bit. Why
didn't he do that before?
He could have done that the minute they rocked up. Yeah, he could have gone, fuck you guys, let's go, and taken them to the void bit. And then when they get to the void, Jack sort of says, but what about Kung Lao? Couldn't you save him? No, I cannot interfere. I'll be like, hold up a bit, mate.
Well, this is interfering.
You're interfering.
Just interfere a bit earlier.
Yeah. I had no arms 2 days ago, motherfucker, until you came and took me. So if that isn't interfering...
Yeah, well, this is the thing, because I think you were supposed to think that Raiden is the good guy because he's playing by the rules of them not being able to fight outside of the actual tournament.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, if a bunch of dudes bring some fucking can of whoop-ass to your door, I don't think it's unfair to just scoop them off into the void early, because you're still technically not fighting. In fact, by waiting around for everybody to get their asses kicked and Kung Lao to die, like, that's actually more fighting. You've actually done the thing that you consider to be like illegal or whatever.
Yeah, he was breaking rules left, right, and center. So right at the end, right, where I can never say his name properly, Shang Tsung turns up after Sub-Zero's been taken out, and then he kind of, next time I'll bring, and he basically zaps him back to like Outworld. I'm like, well, why didn't you just do that the first time they turned up? If you could have done that the whole time, why didn't you just do that? I'm confused.
Honestly, it was it was weird. I mean, it was clearly just one of those things that this movie to me did a very similar thing to what the first movie did, which was look, we don't really care about the ins and outs of the plot. We just want to have a fight, a lot of fights. Well, let's just do a lot of fights. So like there was a lot of like fairly contradictory stuff happening. I will say though, because a lot of people have complained about this film because it's not about a tournament, should be about a tournament because technically this is set pre-tournament, and Shang Tsung is trying to basically off all the champions so that Earth will lose the next tournament, which is actually a fairly sensible villain plot.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people have been whinging about that, saying like, it's not the tournament, blah blah blah. Who gives a fuck? We still got a load of really cool fights and fucking fatalities, bro.
Yeah.
And B, again, I'll say this again, that they're obviously going for a sequel, and they've already put the setup in this that there's only one more tournament before Outworld might actually win.
Yeah.
So they're not going to wang this one movie on that tournament and then be like, oh, don't know where we go with the second one, bros. And also, Mortal Kombat has almost all, like for the last at least 5 or 6 games had story modes that had nothing to do with the tournament. So I don't know why people, but it's not Mortal Kombat if it's not the tournament. If you played Mortal Kombat 11 currently, first of all, you can fight as RoboCop and bring out a 209. Like, get out of it. And also, there's a massive story plot that's got absolutely shit all to do with the tournament. Like, it's nothing to do. I can't remember what the actual plot is, but it's nothing to do with the tournament. So I don't understand that as a criticism. I'm just like, look, what I want is fights, and that's what I've got.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, the tournament thing didn't bother me so much because, like you said, I still got the fights. I think I still prefer the first one just because the first one had a kind of epicness to it that this didn't have, and maybe some of it because some stuff happened on Earth or whatever. But I think I've watched the first film again recently, and I just think the tone of it, the music, it's just more epic. I suppose there's the only way I can sort of say it. But I don't want to do the kind of comparisons left, right, and centre. But like, I think part of the not problem with it, I think it's the problem with a lot of films these days is that everyone's trying to build universes and franchises. And I think sometimes I would rather you just leave it all on the table. Do you know what I mean? Do a cracking film, leave it all on the table. And then if people love it enough and they throw money at you, you could find a way out of it. So if they had have done it, I'm not saying they should have done, but if they had have done the tournament and all the rest of it, they could have found a way out of it if they needed to for the second film. The thing that really disappointed me wasn't the fact I didn't have the tournament. What disappointed me was that I didn't see Shang Tsung get his ass kicked. Because that's what I was waiting. I was genuinely just waiting for it. And I was kind of like, when he walked out at the end, I was like, yeah, here we go. And I thought it was going to be him and Raiden were going to go at it. And then he was like zapped back. And I was like, was that it? And it's because they're setting it up. So, oh no, but when we get to like the third film with it, then we'll see them go throw down. I'm like, yeah, but
what if you never get that movie?
What if you never get? Yeah, exactly. What if you never get that movie? You know, and that's my only problem sometimes with these when they do it. Like when he goes off at the end to get Johnny Cage, it's like, yeah, it's exciting. You can sort of go, it's exciting, but then I'm kind of like looking back at the film, like, are they really going to get the money together to do a sequel? Are they though? I mean, I hope they do.
Me too. Like, I'm intrigued to see what the sort of numbers on this are like because it feels like a difficult movie to release when we're still in a pandemic and a lot of places still have completely closed cinemas. Because I can't see it being the kind of film that people are going to want to pay for to watch on a small screen at home. I mean, I did, but but I would have anyway because I was just like, it's Mortal Kombat. Hook it to my veins. I want it.
Yeah, definitely. And so to kind of, because I don't want to sort of like rain and pray, because actually there was a lot of stuff in here I did like. And before we get onto the thing I really, really did like, I've got to say the fatalities. Oof.
Oh, mate. The reptile one in particular, where Kano punches through Reptile's chest and rips out his heart and then stands there holding his still beating heart and says Kano wins. I was hollering.
Yeah, like, you fucking beauty.
Oh god, perfect. Especially because like that whole fight sequence is pretty good, except that like the editing in this movie is very choppy and a bit
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Like some bits where I genuinely couldn't figure out like where people were in relation to other things because the editing was so odd. But there's just like that moment where he just punches right through his chest and he looks so happy with himself. I was dying because Kano, like
Oh.
as much as I like Kano in the previous movie, like in this one, he's such a monumental cunt, but I love him so much.
It was.
Like
I mean,
he's the actual worst, but I love him.
when I got to the end of the film, I genuinely realised that I was actually rooting for Kano, and
Mate,
that's wrong. That's wrong. That is, and I knew it was wrong. But every scene that he was in. There's actually a YouTube clip where it's got all of his kind of scenes, and I've just been watching it on rewatch because it's just if you're having a bad day, just stick on that bad boy, and it will just put a smile on your face. And
oh god,
it's
some of his
just
one-liners were absolutely killing me. Like
it's
there's a bit where he's trying to like release his arcana, so he's training with I think it might be Kung Lao or maybe it's Liu Kang. Might be Liu Kang. He's he's training with him and he gets his ass kicked like fairly quickly. He just goes, "All right, put a fucking shirt on, Magic Mike."
yeah.
Like he's so annoyed at everything that's happened to him. But oh god, it's so
It's like when
funny.
you first meet Liu Kang, and he's like, "Hang on, just hold it right there, MC Hammer."
Or the other guy is like, "Oh, what if my powers? I don't know, frisbee hat."
Yeah.
To be fair, mate, that hat is deadly.
Yeah, but I think for me the funniest bit, I had to stop it because I was laughing. I couldn't see anymore because it was tears. It's just a small thing, but it's when they first meet Liu Kang, and he was like, "Hang on a minute, mate, you just fire you literally just fired fire out of your hands. How the fuck did you do that?" It's like, "Well, I get superpowers," and then he puts his hand on your shoulder and he's like, "You have much to learn," and he just goes, "The fuck." I don't know what. I
I
don't know what made me.
absolutely like nearly everything that came out of his mouth made me laugh. The only joke of his that I didn't like, and it's more because it fits the character, but to me it feels like lazy writing. Is the bit where he calls Kung Lao like Kung Pao or whatever. Like
Oh yeah,
that's a lazy. Oh,
yeah,
the Englishman can't be asked to learn the foreign names kind of joke.
yeah.
It's just like, oh, come on now.
Whereas the line where he goes, where they're trying to find out where Raiden, because he says, "I know where Raiden's temple is." He goes, "Oh, so where's Raiden's temple?" And he goes, "Oh, you got a pen?" And she literally, and Sonia goes to get a pen. He's like, "You want to write this down? Get fucked."
I love how she genuinely thought he was just going to go, "Oh yeah, here's the address." He's just like, "Oh yeah, it's get fucked."
Yeah, that's just yeah. And I think it wasn't on paper. A lot of the lines just seem quite. They're just a bloke swearing, but it's just his comic timing and his delivery is just yeah.
Do you know who
Yeah,
that guy? Like, has he been in other stuff?
I don't know.
I didn't recognise him at all, and I was a bit worried because I didn't really recognise anybody except the guy who played oh God, what's his name from Supergirl? Fuck's sake.
Dax.
Yeah, what's his
McCann Brooks, I think his name
oh,
is. He played Jimmy Olsen in
Jimmy
Supergirl.
Olsen? Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was the only person pretty much that I actually recognised because I am terrible with like names and faces and stuff. And when Kano came up, I was like, oh, who's this? You know, is this going to be what level of acting are we going to get from this guy? Because you know we've seen Cole Young and it's like the instant he opened his mouth, I was like, love him.
Yeah, I mean,
My new favourite.
he just acted everyone else out of the room. I mean, he's just everyone else just faded into the background. But yeah, he was quality. He made that film for me. Like you said, him, the fights, the fatalities are great. I just, and sort of going through I like Sonya. I like Jax. I thought some of the bit when they were doing the big info dump where she brings them in, we've been looking into this stuff. And it's all about this Mortal Kombat, and she reels it all off.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if someone had told me that, I would have had a hard time buying that.
Well, I think I would have too if I hadn't just seen a man throwing chunks of ice at me.
Yes, fair point. That is a fair
Maybe that
point.
would convince me.
Yep, yep.
But I
No,
tell you what, it's his family who their reaction to Goro is so chill compared to how I would be, which would be dead of a heart attack on the
Yeah.
floor.
And
Uh,
why are they not running?
Mate, they're just standing in the doorway, like, oh, go on, have him.
Yeah.
Like, look, this guy is a huge monster. What are you doing? But when he dies and all of his guts fall out on the floor, I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
what
But
a
still,
film.
none of them compared to the Kung Lao fatality. Was it
Oh,
Kung
mate.
Lao? Yeah, with the hat one. Jesus.
Oh, look, the fatalities were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So, but I tell you what tickled me though as well in talking about the effects, because like one of the things I think is it, like if you're going to do a film like this, you either need to get a real big budget for your effects or potentially lean on some more practical effects. But there was a there was a bit where there was a special effect that was so completely unnecessary and it looked so completely shit. I couldn't stop laughing at it because I was like, what a waste of a budget. And it's a bit when I think it's Cole is fighting Melina maybe.
Right.
And Sonya appears, and she does this like mad sort of like flip thing in the air with like a background of mountains and lightning and whatever. But like it's very blatantly not a real person, not doing any real gymnastics move. It looks so insanely stupid. But all she does is do this flip and then land. So it's completely pointless. She could have just walked in. She's not jumping over anything. She's not dodging a beam or a rope or a weapon. She literally just comes in and flips. And like me and Rich were crying. I was like, why would you spend money on that and not on the dragon of fire that appears later and looks ridiculous?
Yeah.
I love that thing. It was so shit but great.
Yeah, it's just, and I thought that's why it was funny because I'd like, yeah, they've been brought here. It's like now we must train. Training was about what 5 minutes of
10
people
minutes.
just of people getting knocked over. There wasn't even any training.
Oh God, no! It was just them getting their asses kicked. This is this is a fun version of training that I've experienced before in yoga, where people just assume that you'll just get it. So they just
Yeah,
start doing it, and you're like, "Oh no!" And you've just fallen over and thrown up your lunch onto the yoga mat. Like it's just so weird. It's like you can't just fight me and be like, "There you go, training." Like
yeah.
you've got to teach me things.
And oh, we must unlock your arcana. So you just stand there and we'll just let some other dude just smack you in the face in the hopes, not even the fact that you know it's going to work, in the hopes that it's going to unlock it and then
I
be
love the fact
surprised when it
though
doesn't work.
I love the fact though that they seem to know that like just getting angry will do it. So I don't know why they don't just like hurl abuse at everybody immediately.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
I mean, and I have to say though, the award for and they weren't even shit special effects. It was just that what world was that a good idea? Was the Ray Harryhausen arms that they gave Jax, that's stop motion animation arm. They look like like in is that really famous scene from Jason and the Argonauts where you fight skeletons?
Yeah, it's so shit. Oh God! Like as soon as he sat up with them on and he was like trying to flex, and I was like, "That's a fucking coat hanger. That's not. You're doing shit with that thing. It's so rubbish." And he's like trying to lift a rock with it, and I'm like, "Mate, they're gonna snap. They're so crap. They're
It's the bit
so crap."
where he's
Oh my
trading.
God!
He's trading. He's punching. This is shit. And then she gives him, and then the thing is as well, he's there with these chicken arms, and she gives him this like really heartfelt speech, like, do you remember my first day of basic training? You told me blah 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 blah, keep going through blah blah blah, generic quote, and he goes, yeah, and then he shows his chicken arms. I'd be like, bitch, I got chicken arms.
Like, do you know what? Like, me and Rich, because when we were watching it, like, of course I was giving a running commentary because I'm a dickhead. But, like, the thing that I found hilarious about this was they kept showing it, like, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, he was constantly standing there doing something with his arms. Like, he's got to have them crossed, even though it doesn't look at all like it makes sense physically. Like, I was like, look, man, at least in the Snyder Cut, they had the decency to go, look, we can't afford to make Cyborg look good, so we're just going to put him in a hoodie.
Yeah.
Like, just put a coat on him. Like it just looks so stupid. And like even when he gets like his beefier arms, which look obviously like still fairly shit, but like a lot better.
Yeah.
Like it's just the idea of like Like, so the guy has woken up a double amputee and has now had these like shit little metal twigs fucking stuck to his arms. Like, nobody asked him. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, oh my god, I was crying. I was like, I can't believe. I know they were doing the build up to the bigger, beefier arms later, but at least give him something that looks like it would withstand a light breeze.
I mean, I've got to say, I mean, the monks, fair play to them because they got some
Oh,
technical skill. Because I'm like, oh, how did they even know to do that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we got some
God.
spare parts lying around. We'll just graft some arms onto him. And like, what I didn't get, I think what would have worked better if he'd not had any arms. And then when you got to the bit where Sonya's trapped under the giant rock, how she wasn't dead, but anyway, she's
Yeah.
trapped under the giant rock, and he's kind of standing there with no arms, and he kind of like screams because he can't help it. And then he's a Kana, whatever you call it,
Yeah.
a Karina of time or whatever, starts up. And then he gets the arms. That would have made sense to me. And then you wouldn't have had like 50 minutes of him with like chicken arms. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
Oh my god, those arms.
oh,
The funny thing about it as well, I don't know if you noticed, is like, because obviously, like, he's quite a jacked dude, so the
yeah,
top of his arm is like quite robust. The sort of stump part where they stick. So this tiny fucking twig thing is stuck right in the middle of this jacked fucking shoulder. But did you notice that teeny weeny arm had like 15 fucking like metal divots all around his
yeah.
shoulder, like to hold it in? I'm like, mate, you don't need to worry about holding it in. You need to worry about it snapping right fucking off.
Do you know what I mean? You could just see the monks finishing up and going, "Ah, that's a good job, Bob. Yeah, nice one,
Job
John.
well done, mate.
Yeah." And then the supervisor walks in and go, "What the fuck have you done?" They look like he was put together by like YTS monks. Do you know what I mean?
Right, come on, Barry. You said you
Yes.
had thoughts about Liu Kang. I want to know.
Yes. So
I
Liu
wanna know.
Kang, what the fuck? That isn't Liu Kang. When he came on, I mean, yeah, okay, yes, he can fire and all that.
Yes.
When he walked in, he's like, "I'm Liu Kang." I was like, "No, you're fucking not, mate."
I knew you were going to say this. That's why I didn't say anything to you before, because I watched it just before you. I thought,
Right.
I'm not going to say anything to Barry because I know. Because we'd literally, like, when I watched it, we'd literally just had that conversation in the last episode about the old, the like 90s Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
And we were both talking about how amazing Liu Kang is in that. He's got perfect hair, he's got perfect face, got perfect bod. He's often got his top off. I'm
He's
like,
dropping Shakespearean lines. "I pity you, sorcerer." I mean, he's the full package.
he's so good. And then this guy walks up who looks like his kid brother at the start of the Mortal Kombat movie. like he's the one who Shang Tsung in the first
Steps
film
in
is like,
his
your
back,
soul
yeah.
is mine.
Yeah.
I've killed you like a tiny ant person. Like, oh bless him. Like, I'm sure, like, and the guy, like, he was a fine actor, and he was like, obviously, you know, very good at his fights and stuff, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed him. But it did as soon as he came in, I was like, oh no, Barry's gonna hate it.
No, just no. And I don't know if they're trying to do a whole kind of like, "Oh, I could never be as good as Kung Lao. He's the man" type thing, and he gets taken out, and then obviously like he's gonna go on the journey, and when we get to like the third film, which we may not get, he'll be the Liu Kang that we know. I'm not interested in that motherfucker. I want to see Liu Kang.
I want to see those rippling muscles.
I want to see Liu Kang ripped, dropping Shakespearean lines, giving people double lip where he does that double punch thing. That's what I want to be seeing. None of this nonsense. So yeah, I was not happy. I was not happy. Yeah, you're right. He could fight, and the fighting, I had no problem with that. But yeah, I think you nailed it perfectly. He looks like the kid brother. He got his back stepped on.
I tell you what I did love though, and I thought this was a fucking brutal line, is there's a bit, can't remember if it's Nitara or Milena who's fighting Sonya, and they're having a scrap, and she gives her a little like scratch with a, can't remember if it's a sai or a sword or a hand or what, she scratches her anyway, and she's like licking the blood off, and then she goes, "Oh, you're not a champion, your death means nothing," and just wanders the fuck off. I was like,
yeah, I mean, that's a proper mic drop moment. That was, jeez, cold.
Good lord, she was just like, "Oh, you're nothing. What am I even wasting my time on?" I was like, snap.
I got better things to do. I'm gonna go get myself a smoothie, bitch. I'm gone.
God, I thought that was great.
I just, See,
quick note on the music.
you've maybe remember what I enjoyed about this film.
See,
You have.
this is the thing for me, right? Is and I felt the same about the 1995 one. Like, if you were to say to me, technically, are either of these good movies? I would have to say no, because there's like bad effects and there's some like ropey writing and blah 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 whatever. In this new one as well, I really don't like the soundtrack. I think they really
Soundtrack
caused up there.
Awful.
It's just too dubsteppy, and there's no like urgency to any of it. That I was not I was not game with that at all.
No.
But if you want me to rate how much I enjoyed those films, like, I'm fucking punching the air, I'm cheering on Kano. Like,
the Scorpion v Sub-Zero fight at the end was boss.
Oh, it was so good, and I loved the fact as well that, like, because as much as I was looking forward to a Raiden and Shang Tsung sort of showdown, I loved the way they built up this fight, and I love as well, like, they don't really explain how anything works. Like, they don't try to like pseudo some nonsense out as to how he's become, like, how he's come back from hell. Scorpion, he's come back from hell. Who knows how? Who gives a shit? Like, they're just like, look, he's come back. He's got his trowel. It's coming out of his hand now because reasons. Let's have a fight, and they do it on ice. It looked genuinely slippy. I don't think it was, but it looked it. Like, and that whole like sequence in there, especially when they get into the octagon and they're starting to like fucking throw down, and I was like,
it was my thing was, it's kind of like every time Gold Suit dude came in, got involved, I was like, could you just move up to the side because the big boys are playing? That's kind of what I was thinking. It's just like, why are you getting involved? He's got it covered. Just go carry on punching your frozen family to try and get him out, and he couldn't even get him out anyway, and it was Scorpion that got him out. Useless. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that if they do get a second film, which I really hope they do, because I am intrigued to see what they do with like Johnny Cage and everything. But like, I really hope that they sort of develop him a bit more now that he's more sure of himself and stuff. Because at the start of the film as well, he's very sort of like, I'm not very good, and I want to say.
To be fair, he wasn't very good. So he had that down. He had that nailed. I mean, I gotta say that I don't know. I mean, he was only in it for like a small role, but I don't know what that referee's problem was with him. Jeez.
Oh, I know.
Fucking right. Oh, you're back, are you? You loser.
But then he keeps coming in and he's like, oh, come on, can you have a scrap again? I need someone to lose a thing. You're like, mate.
Give him a break.
Don't even dress it up like you just, I just want to see what this match would be like. He's like, nah, I need a shitting. Can you do it?
200 quid, go in there, get your ass whooped, which he did.
Mate, I've got feelings that I'm probably going to watch this again before the end of the year.
Yeah, I probably will now. If nothing else, to just, yeah.
That was Stace and Barry in the Mortal Kombat tournament of champs or something.
Something.
I wish I had some self-confidence. Where's my Arcana?
Yeah. Where's my golden suit?
Oh God, where's my frisbee hat? Oh, anyway, hey, if you enjoyed that absolute waffle fest, send us an email at staceandbarry@gmail.com or tweet us at Stacey's Parlour and at Geek Syndicate, and have a lovely jubbly weekend or whatever time it is when you happen to listen to this, and we'll see you on the flippity flop.
Yeah, and just remember, if you go out gardening or going to leave your house for any length of time, take your family with you.
Yeah. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yeah, and hide all your kids, not just the chosen kid.
And not just the one.
Not just the one.
Not just the shit baby.
That was harsh.
Right.
Why would you not? I know about to go, but why would you not? If you know that, like, potentially some dude with ice powers is going to track you down, because he wasn't shocked when the guy turned up.
Not at all.
Why would you not have it set up so there's like a massive compartment underneath it, so your whole family maybe could fit in it? Just saying.
Look, don't look at me, mate. How that baby stayed quiet throughout that affair is another. It's like the whole of A Quiet Place where you're just like, hold on, how is this woman fucking giving birth? Come on now.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Clearly, that baby is like the most intelligent character in that whole film, because that kid's like, I need to keep my mouth fucking shut because
something is happening.
Yeah.
I am keeping it quiet, baby.
Yeah, and also as well when they sort of go, "Oh, it's unsurprisingly cold for this time of year." Come on, people!
How is it so cold in here? Do you think it might be the man with ice powers that you know is after you? Fuck's actual sake, guys. Jeez. I love
It's
how they
like,
don't
look,
really go into that either, though, do they? They're just
no,
like, oh, it's taking me revenge. For what? Who cares?
yeah, no one cares. It's snowing in July. That's peculiar. Do you know what I mean? It's like, get the fuck out of
I was going to say, if it starts snowing in July, I am gone. I'm
I've
like, do you know
got,
what? Something's happened and
yeah,
it can't be good.
yeah. Just and there's a bit. I'm sorry. I've got 3 minutes. I'm gonna use that time.
Go
Right
on.
when Sub Zero turns up and they're having dinner, and
Mm.
which is a bit of a dick move, but they're having dinner, and then he kind of says, "Right, it's the fact that the dad has to run outside to grab the daughter to get the daughter under the table." Have you not raised your kids smart enough to know that when big shit is falling from the sky, get underneath something? It's like,
Apparently not. Apparently
apparently
not.
not.
No. Oh, God. It's a good film, though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, no, I did have a lot of fun with it, I've got to say. Even more so now, my sides hurt. I need to go lie down.
Well, enjoy your lie down, dear.
So bye all.
Bye, everyone. Mwah.